Hi everyone, we're back with another video on how to draw the bow. Last time we discussed the most common method used today, the three-finger Mediterranean draw. Today we're talking about another very recognized method, the thumb draw. The thumb draw has been popularized and in some ways mystified in recent years, especially due to the increasing exposure of alternative or Eastern styles of archery, especially on YouTube and several different movies. There are some similarities between the rise of Asian martial arts in the West and Asiatic archery in the mindsets of Western audiences today, mostly because of its exotic nature and its differences to Western archery. Consequently, you get discussions where people talk about how thumb draw is the most effective way and the correct way of archery, or shooting off the right side is the correct way, and so on. And many of these things have some grain of truth to them, though they might miss the wider context. So what is the thumb draw? How does it work? And why was it used? The thumb draw has its development closely in line with the use of the composite bow. These bows were commonly used in Eastern styles of archery or Asiatic archery, and this covers everything from the Muslim kingdoms, the Huns, the Mongols, the Indians, the Persians, the Chinese, the Koreans, and the Japanese. So basically, half the world used the thumb draw in some way or another. Whereas if you go towards the western end of Europe, you'll see more of the Mediterranean draw using the fingers. With the thumb draw, it's possible to use one digit and the strongest digit to pull the string back with power and control. The thumb draw is normally shot from the thumb side of the bow or the opposite side of the archer. The reason being is that if placed on the same side or the left side of the bow, what happens is the draw tends to flip the arrow off the bow. And this is particularly problematic when riding a horse, where this is very much undesirable. And in contrast, with a thumb draw, the index finger pins the arrow against the bow, which allows it to be held in place and be shot from a multitude of angles. These advantages, along with several other unique ones, would make the thumb draw very effective for the cultures and people who use short composite bows, and especially on horseback. So historically, in Eastern cultures and kingdoms and societies, this was seen as the normal and correct way to do archery. Even though the fighters might not be mounted warriors, the fact that mounted archery was the prime form of archery, all techniques and equipment were passed down to foot archers, and therefore this was the normal kind of shooting which we see widely in Eastern archery. Now, of course, there are dozens of variations of thumb draw. There is no one universal correct way to do thumb draw. No matter what style you use, there will be variations and variations within those variations. So if you're using an Arabic source, it's different to Turkish archery, which is different to Japanese archery, which is different to Korean archery and Ming archery, and so on. There are so many different versions of this. What I'm giving you isn't a comprehensive guide on every thumb draw, but a basic first-time introduction. The thumb of the drawing hand is hooked around the bottom of the nock. The index finger is then placed lightly over the fingernail of the thumb. When pulling back, all the weight is felt on the thumb, and the index finger helps pin the arrow against the bow. The index finger also effectively acts as a hinge. So when the archer is ready to release, the archer relaxes both the index finger and the thumb, and the string is allowed to come off freely. And again, without the arrow, hook the thumb around the bottom of the nock, place the index finger over the thumbnail, and pull back on the finger. To release, relax the index finger and the thumb, and that's your thumb draw. Obviously, with a lot of practice, you can become extremely quick, and consequently, the thumb draw has become associated with speed shooting. As I've said previously, do remember that there is no one single correct method of a thumb draw. Every style is different. Not every style used a speed shooting method. Not every style used the same anchor point, and not every style uses the same bow. I know recently there's been a bit of a craze of more people seeing thumb shooting or Asiatic shooting. They think, wow, this must be real authentic military archery. Yes, in some contexts, but as I said before, this is only one way to do archery. It was used quite widely around the world, but it wasn't the only way that people shot throughout history. The thumb draw and the Mediterranean draw are the two most well-known methods throughout history. The thumb draw today holds a bit more of an exotic place because it's less commonly seen in Western media and Western culture, but it is actually quite widely practiced elsewhere in the world. Anyway, hope you found this interesting. If you enjoyed this, stay tuned for more quick videos on how to draw the bow, and hopefully this will inspire you to perhaps try this yourself. This is NUSensei, and I'll see you next time.